Let's welcome Mr. Isaiah Washington.
I've learned from Eddie Murphy and Chris Rock, just walk, pace back and forth, kind of like a stand-up comedian. I'm thinking, thank you, everyone. If I want to come up a little closer, just come up, so, fill in the guys. Make me feel like I got somebody like, come up closer, especially you, George Gifford. Known this man way too long. You did make it, homeboy. I made it. Yeah, I want you up front. You want to just come up a little closer? Come on, just fill in those in. Because I think there's a friend in here like videotaping for me, so we want to make it look like it was packed on YouTube. We'll make sure that Fort Worth is holding it down. Yeah. My offering, which is in the form of this book, starts in 1972. Summer of 1972, when I was 9. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised that it's not a tell-all. It's a tell-all of who the real Isaiah Washington is. And there are many people in this room that have known me for quite some time, for well over 30 years. And I think they would be surprised at who I really am and why I am. And one of those reasons is I had a dream that started, at least I was aware of it, in 1972 that I refer to as the rerun in the book. And I couldn't understand it, these sequence of events, of these individuals that would come into my life and give me certain information and insights about who I was to become. But over time, this dream seemed to appear right before what would be considered a catastrophic event in my life that would alter my course. I see a film called She's Gotta Have It. I'll talk about how I probably had a midlife crisis at the age of 23. And decides, nothing has seemed to be working out for me. So why don't I just put a 10-year plan together? And it's 1986. In 1996, I'll have my business degree, I'll have an acting degree, and I'll make my first film with this guy named Spike Lee because that looks like a lot of fun. And it also looks like I've never seen images of African Americans that way. Of course, in Gaithersburg, Maryland, everyone thought I was crazy. Literally, you're crazy. So I decided I'm going to go on auditions, just out of nowhere. Stopped in the middle of my life. Changed my whole course. Got a book that had a picture of a man by the name of Ossie Davis. And as I read about his life, I said, oh, okay, he was part of the Howard Players. The Howard Players is Howard University. That's not too far from Maryland. So that's where I'm going. Drove my car back to Houston, Texas. My mom sold all the silver that I sent her when I was stationed in the Philippines and Korea, all of China. I got enough money to matriculate before I got back to DC to get to my class. I stopped it at Tuskegee University, or Tuskegee Institute. I wanted to see the statue of Booker T. Washington. He was holding the blanket over the children who was learning to read. The problem is that when I got so overwhelmed with that statue, I couldn't understand why I would take myself off course, because now I'm going to be late for class. I fell asleep. That's a problem. Now I got to speed. I got to get back to DC. I got to get to this class. I got to get this money. I got to do something. I got to have this journey. I got to do something. I don't know what it is, but I'm speeding. And I'm doing about a little Chevy Spectrum. At least it can only go about maybe 100 miles an hour. This is like 1986. Remember the little Chevy Spectrum? That thing was rattling, and the engine was burning, and the little exhaust was on fire, and it was all red. And I'm blowing through Virginia, a place called Lynchburg, Virginia. And I'm blowing through, and I'm like, yeah, baby, Lynchburg, Virginia, I'm blowing through, and I'm blowing through, and this thing is shaking, and it's shaking, and it's rattling, and whoop, whoop, whoop. Uh-oh. I can outrun it. So I just put the pedal to the metal. I almost crossed the state line. Whoop, whoop, whoop. 3 more cars. Whoa. Exactly. What to do? right? I'm in Lynchburg, Virginia. Cops walk to the car, guns out, get out, throw it in the street. I hear click, 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 click. And then something says, nah, what you doing speeding? Where you going, boy, so fast? Well, don't worry about that, because you're not gonna make it wherever you go. Another car pulls up. Gets out, wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute. Let's take a look at this. I'm asked to get up. Brought to the police station. He talked to me, asked me a series of questions. And one of the officers says, oh, wait a minute, you're in the military, right? I said, yes. He said, were you stationed in the Philippines? And I said, yeah, I was. He said, you used to run track, right? I said, yeah, I did. He said, you kind of ran like a duck, right? I was Michael Johnson before Michael Johnson. And I said, yeah. He said, I raced against you in Okinawa. And I said, yeah, you beat me. And I said, I did? He says, yeah. He says, you're good. He says, you know what, don't worry about this. Where are you going? You can't go that fast. You're gonna hurt yourself. I said, no, okay, I'm just telling my story. He erased everything, didn't have a record, took me back to my car, wished me well. I was on my way out of Lynchburg, Virginia. I'm telling all these stories to say that these sequence of events, even in my foolishness or my haste, I believe that DNA has memory. And I believe that every single thing that happens under the sun happens for a reason. Everything, even if it looks bad, even if it is bad, it all happens for a reason. This is beyond a philosophical course on philosophy. What I'm trying to impress upon all of you is that we all have the power to change. Each and every one of us has Africa in us. So it's not a question of going back to Africa. It's just a question or an affirmation of having Africa's back. Mother's Day is tomorrow, so they say. I believe Mother's Africa's Day is every day. Please, someone raise their hands and we can agree that Mother Africa is the cradle of all humanity. Raise your hands. Where everything started. Show of hands. Is there an argument with that? So like I said to those 39 or 40 PhDs, if we can agree that Mother Africa is the beginning of all of civilization, to be civil discourse, humanity, and we all love our mothers, right? Then 39 plus 1 PhDs, why is it that I have to be challenged or be made to be afraid to want to protect and honor Mother Africa? Please show me hands of anyone that will allow their mother to be raped, infected with HIV, bombed, stigmatized, lynched, amputated, shot, deprived of clean water. Would you let your mother go through that? I didn't hear you. No. Will you let your mother be talked about for centuries? Neglected, abused, stolen from. Right. Let someone come in her house, steal her jewels, her land, her babies, and not want to defend it with every being, every ounce of your being? Spiritually, physically? Would you? Then why on God's green earth is it such a strange idea that I was born to go back and get my citizenship? A document that W.E.B. Du Bois and Marcus Garvey went into exile and died for. Why is it the truth stranger than fiction? Why is it not on the cover of Time magazine of this accomplishment? Why is it not headlines the way my incident on Grey's Anatomy went around the world in 65 languages? Why? Shh. Like Harriet Tubman said, it's all right. I know why. I use my own resources and my time and my energy, not because I was just trying to be a big guy. I did it because on August 3rd, 1963, when I was near death, and my mom was so angry at my father that she said, Isaiah, if you are not at that hospital when this child is born, I will not bring him into this world. She meant that. Our water broke. My father, biological father, was not there. He was in some juke joint, somewhere, catting around. So my mother, serious, she was young, 21, insecure, and angry. So she wanted to prove a point and send a message. I'm not letting this boy out of my body until you get here. So the water broke, and for hours, the story goes, they struggled to get me out of my mom. And by the time she was worn out physically, I was born, but I was still born. Shriveled up like a prune, black as this jacket I have on, and apparently the life that I had in me gave me the appearance, and my ears were so black it looked like they were burned. I had a white face, and my fingers were all white, like gloves. So when they brought me home, my sister of 5 years looked at me and said, wow, he looks like Mickey Mouse. So, as you will see in the book, that's my nickname. And there's no coincidence that my biggest hero as I was growing up was watching Mickey Leland in Houston. And all the pictures of this bearded man in his safari clothes holding these African children. Somehow I knew I was going to do that. Didn't know how, but I knew that was really, really cool. And then I ended up working for Disney, Mickey Mouse himself. It's an interesting chapter in the book where after all that silly season went down, I found out that Disney, Walt Disney is probably next to Rockefeller, one of the biggest collectors of African artifacts in the world. And I was at the newly opened Smithsonian for African Art, looking at this wonderful exhibit of all these artifacts from Sierra Leone, from Liberia, from Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, like 6,000 pieces, man. Most extraordinary masks and artifacts I ever want to see in my black life. And every single piece said owned by Disney. So I'm in there by myself. Shortly after I make my exit, I'm thinking, come on, I go to another place, owned by Disney, owned by Disney. So I'm thinking, all right, Ashton Kutcher, where you at? You know, I gotta be being bumped. There's no way all these pieces from Sierra Leone, my native homeland, is owned by Disney. And I talk about it in the book. And I asked one of the security guys, and I was really stunned. I was like, man, what is all this? All these pieces owned by Disney, my former boss, what's that about? And he says, yeah, man, Mickey Mouse owns all this. And I said, what you say? He said, I said, yeah, Mickey Mouse, man, he owns all this. It all belongs to Mickey Mouse. And I said, oh, that's what I thought you said. I've been called Mickey Mouse my whole life. Y'all follow me? All right. That's what a man from another land is about. I got that name apparently when I was being inducted as a chief in Yande Manga. Took a council before I got there because my last name, Washington, was also the middle name of her husband, Joseph Scott Washington Manga. I mean, Joseph Washington Scott Manga. So she thought it was ironic that maybe, just maybe, I may be a man from another land that will return to this land and help rebuild it and turn Ceylon, Sierra Leone, into the original form of when it was called the Athens of Africa. In fact, the British Protectorate, the Nova Scotians were all returned to Freetown first before Liberia was created. In fact, Buns Island was built off the coast of Sierra Leone to exclusively send slave labor to this place called North America only. Fact, no slave coming from the door no return at Goree Island and Elmina Castle arrived on North American soil. They could not afford slaves until 1619. So from the 15th century and beyond, these slave laborers were going to the Caribbean and South America. Can I get an amen? All right, amen, Walls. Only Walls listen. Amen? Amen? There it is. So, in fact, there's about 95% of Mindi, Timni, Ancestry, and Pele peoples walking around North America. And they were all channeled through Savannah, Georgia, and Charleston, South Carolina. And when I spoke on the Magnolia Plantation to reveal 5 slave cabins, everyone thought I was crazy. Why are you going down to a plantation talking about preserving slave cabins? And I said, because my people built them.
All right, yeah.
And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, they didn't get paid for it. But all these cobblestone and all these bridges and all these landmarks, I'm just going to flip the tape in my head. I'll stop this thing called racial animus and anger. It's not getting us anywhere. We're moving nowhere being angry at the man. Because the man today may look like you. I make a joke about my mentor, who I love, and don't get me wrong. And we're going to collaborate on a thing about DNA getting prisoners, juvenile delinquents tested, since they're not going anywhere. We're going to get their DNA test, and whatever they learn about themselves, we can see if we can really initiate some real rehabilitation. This man is by the name of Henry Louis Skip Gates, Professor Gates, out of Harvard. So I tease him when he found out in his own African-American lives that he was 80% European. And just say, man, just told kiddos from Africa, but just pick a place, man. Put me in Africa. How can I be the baddest black man on the planet and not be from Africa? Right? You remember that? Did you see that? So when he got arrested in his house with this white man, I wanted to ask him, I says, Professor Gates, what were you thinking, man? Who got arrested? The 80% or the 20%? Because it was the 80% that forgot the 20% could get arrested. So there's something going on with this DNA thing. You know, and it's not just percentages, it's just who we really are. And I believe that whatever your skin color, whatever your hair is doing, just be you.
Yes, sir.
If you have Portuguese or German or French, embrace it. And go and try to get your citizenship in France and see what happens. If you got enough of it, it's a power in numbers. And say, well, yeah, I'm from Portugal. We all marched to Portugal. Because in fact, Martin Luther King's paternal lineage is out of Portugal. You didn't get that when we revealed that in September at the African Policy Forum with the Leon A. Sullivan Foundation, because the media was too busy dogging out Reverend Eddie Long and his personal business.
Come on.
And I'm calling CNN, man, come on, we're telling where Marcus Garvey is from. His father's from Spain, he's a Moor. That don't make news, T.J. Holmes, Frederica Whitfield, Roland Martin. No, man, we gotta go do this story. Eddie Long sleeping with some boys. What? That's news? That's old news. Martin Luther King's daddy is from Portugal, man. The history of the Portuguese. They named it Sierra Leone. He's an explorer. It makes sense. Let's talk about that. No. Dr. Julius Garvey, the son, his mother is Mindy. Coretta Scott King, maternal lineage. Reverend, Bernice King and Martin Luther King III, their mother. Okay, born April 27, 1927, which is exactly the Independence Day for Sierra Leone, April 27. I was just there to celebrate. That's no coincidence. Coretta Scott King is Mindy, out of Sierra Leone. That's no coincidence. Coretta Scott King, I heard from Andrew Young, threatened to leave the movement, and Martin Luther King, if he did not take the movement and support Kwame Nkrumah in 1955, when it looked like he was probably going to run for president and become president, 1957. That's a Mindy woman. Maya Angelou's Mindy. Whoopi Goldberg, Dr. Mae Jemison, Regina King is Timmy. Andrew Young is Mindy. So all of the warriors, all of the people are ancestors of that one man that turned Amistad around. You know him as Joseph Senke. We know him at home as Singbe Pae. So there's something going on. We, by definition, all of you in this room are the richest Africans on the planet. And you don't even know it. There's people over there that make $376 a year that work for me and my foundation. I send them $300 a month, and they're living like kings in Sierra Leone. In fact, they get all the calls from Buki, Pookie, and Boogie. Can I get a loan? Because I know you work for Isaiah Washington. The same stress you get here, anybody advances, you know the crab in the barrel syndrome, you're making a little paper, your phone start ringing. Well, you know what? Change your phone number. We got to get it together. We got to learn the power of no. Because we continue to be guilt tripped for leaving the hood to try to get back to Africa, and you can't even get out your house because everybody know you got. Or you're going to get got. Because you're going to stay in the same hood, the same university, the same church, and everybody's going to backbite you and do you wrong and stab you in the back and treat you bad, tell you need to take the weave out or put the weave in, get the hair grease, get the hair grease out, cut your hair, no hair, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too light, you're too dark, you're too ugly, you're too fat, you talk too much, you're all this, you're so busy backbiting and fighting and nothing, and give me some money, you owe me some money, hell no, give me $5, no, you owe me $5. Girl, you gonna put that doggone chicken neck in the collard greens, or you gonna put the pork bone in the collard greens, or you gonna get the ham hocks, what you gonna do? Well, my mama said, grandma always have these dinners, she always put pork in the collard greens. And now you wanna put turkey neck? What, you wanna eat like those white people? I ain't putting no tofu in my collard greens. You eat like them white folks. What the heck are y'all talking about? People in Africa looking at us like y'all done lost y'all damn mind. Y'all got too much time and TV and Xbox and MTV and Boo Boo BB and Yo Yo and BB and all kinds of stuff. You got a TV, man, they don't even have that. Excuse my French, but what the hell happened? If Martin was alive, if Malcolm X was alive, he'll slap every single one of us. Well, not me now. I was free. I'm a messenger coming back to say y'all need to stop your wicked ways. Damn, that Negro funny. He's been holding his head like a comedian. Yeah, I do stand up. I've been in the closet a long time, but I've come out. I've come out of the closet. Y'all got it first. Y'all know what I am? Pan-Africanist.
Come on. Come on.
Some scary stuff. I've been there from the day one. Y'all saw me in Strapped, Strictly Business, get on the bus. If you want to know what I was doing and get on the bus with that nappy head playing the gay characters, I was just setting it up so you can know what Moses looked like on film. For the gay brothers, I was sending you a message and get on the bus. Be strong. Be a man. Don't let men on film and Shanae and what Jamie Foxx is doing fool you.
Come on.
And what this wonderful man named Tyler Perry is doing fool you. We're strong black men. I don't care who you're sleeping with. As long as you're just handling your business. Because no king can be a true king if you're not paying your bills. If you do what you got to do what you got to do. Nobody should be interested in your business. Right? If you look at Love Jones, the day I went to create Savon, the producer came into my room with clippers in his hand, ready to cut my beard and my hair. Well, Mr. Washington, it has come to our attention that you have a hair issue. And we've been talking, and we just realized that we don't see a tenured Northwestern University professor who will look the way you look. And I said, really? I said, did you talk to the director and write about that? Well, no. I just thought I'd come in here and just help you shave. And I said, really? I said, you bring a lunch? Because we're going to be tussling for a while. So either you send me home, or you let me go and do what I have to do, because what does my hair have to do with my intellect? I have been nearly fired for y'all on every movie y'all see. Because I've been trying to say, it's happy to be nappy.
This journey of yours, did it start prior to Howard or high school or military? Or how long have you been on this quest and when you got to the point where you wanted to dissect the DNA and decide that you realized that you were part of it?
She asked me the question, how long I've been on this journey, that I've been aware of it. Like I said, this dream that I talk about called the rerun, I wasn't aware of it. I was completely ignorant. I was just living my life like everybody else. But I just knew I was different. You know, I knew that in Sunday school I would challenge the book of Genesis, and I'm like, you know, it changes in verse number 7, 8, and 14. It's like, wait a minute, how many animals? 2 by 2 and 1 to 6. It's different. I'm like, how many animals getting on Noah's ship? I don't know. And why Ham? Ham was just trying to help his dad out.
Come on.
Why Noah gonna just put the curse on Ham? And everybody that's the offspring of Ham has to be black and slaves. You know, like he was the one just saying, Dad, put on some clothes, man. He's looking out for Pop. But yeah, everybody that's connected to him, all the Cushites, everybody, anything that's black had to be bad. In time memorial. I just had questions like that at like 6 or 7 years old. Yeah, I get the little bald head, the hair, and pull me out like, well, get the nickel and get out of here. Stop asking all those questions. So I don't remember when my purpose started, but I do know this evolutionary process called DNA testing can allow us to have a more authentic and holistic conversation about our collective experiences. How we got here, what we're doing here, how you and why you were sent to Fort Worth from Liberia, and how that is going to look in this end game. So, like I said in this book, when I met Senator Barack Obama and was telling him what I was trying to achieve as he was fighting, when I met him, he came out the Senate floor. It scared me to death because before the doors opened, he smelled like a pack of cigarettes. And it almost knocked me over. It's kind of like when you're driving on the highway and it's in the rain and you think you're doing 90 miles an hour and all of a sudden an 18-wheeler blows by you in the rain and you feel like your car is almost blown over. That's how I felt with this presence that came off the Senate floor called Senator Barack Obama. But all I can remember saying, and I say it in the book, is that, oh my God, please save this man. We need him. And he sauntered over to me walking all pigeon-toed like Michael Jordan. Sexiest thing I ever said. Cool. So, Hill Harper, tell me about you. So what you doing? You got a card? Yeah, all right. Cool, well, I'll see you at the crossroads. I gotta get back in here and get these colleagues to extend this 25-year extension on this 1965 voters' right. Because it ain't law. He disappeared. I see you at the crossroads. So yeah, I've been on this journey a while, and I intend to be on it until I can't breathe. I wasn't supposed to get here because somebody was mad at somebody. So I figure when I leave, somebody's gonna be mad at somebody. What I'm gonna do, my dog, is to change something. Leave a legacy that you can understand. Any more questions?